Jungkook hugged Taehyung in the middle of the camera, tears streaming down his eyes. But that wasn't what shook the entire army. It was Taehyung's clear-sounding phrase, "If this is the last time, I want you to know." What did he mean? Is this a farewell? Is Jungkook really leaving BTS? Or was there something deeper hidden all this time? Millions of ARMY shocked. Jungkook and taehyung share a heartbreaking hug today. What's up? The day started like a normal day. The sky was clear above the military training camp. The calm atmosphere did not seem to hold any surprises. But behind the high fence that surrounded the place, something happened. A moment that instantly ignited an emotional storm around the world. There, two figures who have become part of global music history stand face to face. Jungkook and taehyung. Not just two names, but two hearts that have walked together through millions of seconds, thousands of stages, and countless tears and laughter. Then they hugged. Not an ordinary hug, but that hug feels like the end of a chapter in the book of life. The question is not just why, but what is being conveyed through the hug? And what most made the ARMY's millions hold their breath? What really happened between them? Some of the fan cameras that captured the moment briefly recorded Taehyung's low voice quivering, "If this is the last time." A sentence that shook, sliced, and left more questions than answers. Why did Taehyung say it first? Isn't Jungkook the one leaving the military? Or is there something that no one knows yet? This shocking news came like a storm in the midst of silence. Jungkook, the Golden Meanie, is said to be ending his military service soon. But what was even more astonishing was, the first people who heard it directly were not HYB's top brass, not the media, not RM or Jin, but Taehyung. Why did only Taehyung know first? What did Jungkook just want to tell her? And what exactly happened when the two met today? That moment happened so quickly, but the impact still resonates today. Taehyung came quietly, not greeted officially, not with a bouquet of flowers, not with a grandiose announcement. But as soon as he saw Jungkook, his face immediately changed, as if holding something back. Whether it's crying, whether it's anger, or a bitter truth that cannot be put into words, ARMY who were present around the location witnessed for themselves how Taehyung's mood looked fragile. In fact, as he finally grabbed Jungkook's hand and pulled him into an embrace, his body trembled. His words sounded faint. "I'm not ready if you really choose that." Choose that? What does it mean? Is that Jungkook's decision to leave BTS? Or is there something even more shocking that has been covered up from the public? Jungkook didn't answer at the time, but his eyes stared in Taehyung's direction. There are invisible wounds. There is a restrained guilt. And there were tears that almost fell, but were held back with all their might. Jungkook hugged Taehyung tighter, as if speechless. "I don't want this to happen either, but I have to." And when the hug ended, the world changed. Since that day, the ARMY has not stopped looking for answers. They dig back into all of Jungkook and Taehyung's last interactions before enlistment. They look for clues behind hidden messages that may have been tucked in songs, uploads, even behind their smiles and laughter. But one thing is for sure, this is no ordinary farewell. Taehyung's never been that open before. Usually, it is he who hides everything behind a joke and a wide smile. But that day, he was the first to speak. Why? An internal source said that Jungkook had conveyed to Taehyung an important decision. A decision that he has been hiding from the public, even from the ARMY, and that decision is probably the end point. Did I ask this about Jungkook's departure from BTS? Or will he pursue something he can't do with his group? Many have speculated that for a long time, Jungkook had felt that there was a different path for him to take. Yet none of the ARMY wanted to believe it, until the moment the hug happened. What makes it all the more emotional is the fact that Taehyung looks like a remorseful person. As if there was something he wanted to fix. As if he felt if only he had known sooner, if only he could have stopped that decision, maybe things would have been different. Taehyung's words before leaving Jungkook were no less surprising. He turned around and said, "Don't let them blame you, it's not your fault." Again, a sentence full of mystery. Who does he mean by they? What will Jungkook be blamed for? And why should all this begin in silence and end in tears? That night, The hashtags #StayWithBTS and #Don'tLeaveJK instantly topped trending around the world. Armies from different countries flooded social media with messages of support, but also with burning anxiety. Many of them felt there was something to hide. HYB. Did Jungkook's decision to leave come of his own accord? Or any pressure from the agency? Is this to do with Jungkook's solo project suddenly disappearing from the radar, or with the group's untimely delayed comeback? ARMY's most loyal even unpacked moments where Jungkook was seen pensive, or when he avoided questions about BTS's future. All seemed to be small clues to this big moment, a heartbreaking embrace that left the whole world silent for a moment. And the big question that remains unanswered today, is the hug a farewell? Or is it just the beginning of something more surprising? Because behind those cries and vague words, one thing is certain. Nothing will be the same after today. Armies around the world can only wait. Waiting for clarity, waiting for an answer, waiting for a miracle. Because for them, BTS is not just a group. Jungkook and Taehyung are not just idols. They're family. They're home. And if one of them leaves, will the house remain intact? The day leaves not only hugs. That day left wounds that a fan who was close enough described the atmosphere as Taehyung turned to leave Jungkook. The pace is heavy, he said, like someone who has just given up something of the most value and knows that he will never get it back. Does that mean Taehyung has given up on something? Did Jungkook say something that made him hopeless? To make matters worse, a few minutes before the hug, Jungkook was seen writing something on his phone. Then, after the hug happened, Taehyung read Jungkook's phone screen and immediately fell silent. Some say his face instantly changed. His eyes are empty. Then the hug happened. What is the content of the message? Did Jungkook reveal something that no one was ready to hear? Or did he decide on something that would shake not just BTS, but the entire South Korean entertainment world? Some theories began to spread wildly among the ARMY. One of the most disturbing is the suggestion that Jungkook will take a longer hiatus than expected, or even more extreme, he won't be returning as a member of BTS. This is confirmed by the absence of an official statement from HYB. No big announcements as usual. There is no usual enthusiastic welcome given to members upon completion of their enlistment. Silence. Quiet. Then suspicious. Then why did Taehyung come first secretly? Some speculate that he was the only member who knew earlier. That Jungkook is only willing to talk about this with Taehyung because their relationship is so personal, not just co-workers, but brothers in silence. And if that's the case, then the burden Taehyung endured that day was unimaginable. Imagine having to be the first to know when someone you consider your own sister utters that she probably will, gone for good. Not out of this world, of course, but from everything that has been built for more than a decade. From BTS, from music, from the stage, from the ARMY. But why? Why did Jungkook have to make such a tough decision? Does he feel burdened? Does the pressure as BTS's magne make him feel like he has no room to breathe? Is he harboring feelings of fatigue, hurt, and hope that have not been conveyed so far? Or is it protecting someone? Yes, there are also those who mention deeper theories. That Jungkook's departure, if it really happened, was not because he wanted to, but because he had to. Could this be related to an internal scandal? Could it be that Jungkook sacrificed himself to save something or someone? And could it be that the reason he conveyed this to Taehyung first was because Taehyung is the only one he can fully trust? ARMY certainly still remembers how Taehyung once said in an old interview, "If one of us wants to quit, then we'll all hold him. But if he goes anyway, I want to be the first to know. I want to hug him before everything changes." Is it just an ordinary sentence? Or a hunch? That day, the saying came true. Taehyung was the first to know. He hugged Jungkook. A hug that has now etched a deep wound in the hearts of millions of ARMY. Even more heartbreaking was that, after that moment, Jungkook appeared to be walking on his own. He didn't upload anything, didn't write anything. Taehyung is gone. No updates. No clarification. And when the media began to smell the news that this was not an ordinary meeting, it was too late. The truth is already exploding in the form of speculation and mass crying. A source close to the training staff said that days before the meeting, Jungkook had asked for personal time several times. Not for the holidays, but to write. Yes, writing. Some of the staff even mentioned that Jungkook wrote something like a letter in a small notebook that he always carried with him. Several times he was seen writing and then tearing up the page and burning it secretly outside the headquarters area. Why should he burn the letter? What does he want to hide? Or what doesn't he want to leave behind? A few days after the incident, when most of the army was still caught in an emotional storm, shocking news again spread. A former vocal coach who had worked with BTS during the pre-debut period anonymously delivered a shocking statement. Jungkook is the harboring type. If he smiles, then he is struggling. And if he is silent, then something in him may have broken. Those words fueled speculation that had been swirling. Jungkook, who looks strong, precocious, and has always given his all for BTS. Could it be that all this time, he has been holding a weight that cannot be shared with anyone? And Taehyung, why was he the only one called to meet before that time came? Another fact came to the fore, and ARMY began to piece together the pieces of the puzzle. Before Taehyung called, Jungkook had called his mother. The conversation lasted only a few minutes, but was said to be full of silence. His mother only said one sentence. If that's what you choose, I just want you to live quietly. What does it mean? Did his mother know of Jungkook's grand plan? Could it be about his career? Or his personal life? Then one more clue hit hard. In one of the overseas fanbase's accounts, there was a picture of a military staffer carrying Jungkook's bag towards the back gate of the headquarters. To ARMY's bewilderment, not only because the bag was covered in black cloth, but because inside it appeared to be a picture frame. Why take photos with you when leaving training camp? And more importantly, who is in the photo? Some thought it was a photo of BTS with Seven. But a fan with visual analysis skills stated otherwise. The picture is not very big, just two figures. One with darker hair and another light brunette. Their posture, very similar to Jungkook and taehyung. Did Jungkook accidentally bring a photo of just the two of them? And if so, what does that mean? We go back to the letter that was said to be given to Taehyung. Some fans claim to see V reading something in the car before leaving the military headquarters. His hands trembled, and afterwards he lowered his head in silence during the journey home. Not even a word came out of his lips for almost 2 hours. Usually, Taehyung will give small gestures, such as emojis or song lyrics on social platforms. But this time, hello, just quiet. Then one night, Taehyung posted a short story containing one sentence. If you can still hear me, don't go. No photos. There are no songs. That's it. ARMY, who read immediately knows. It's not just any word. It was a scream. Application. Maybe regrets that are too late, and sure enough, the next day came an announcement from HYB. Not what the ARMY expected. Through a short press release, no live broadcast, no official video. HYB just wrote, "We ask for privacy for all BTS members during this transition period. We are grateful for the support of the ARMY around the world." There is no mention of what is being transitioned. There is no Jungkook. There is no information about the end of the conscription period. There is no confirmation that he will return. It all feels like a farewell wrapped in neutral words, and more than that, none of the BTS members responded. RM did not compose poetry as usual. J-Hope didn't upload an optimistic smile. Jin didn't even write welcome back like he did for J-Hope before. They were all silent. And ARMY began to really feel there is a very wrong in the midst of the information vacuum. An old staff member from the agency suddenly appeared who did not want to be named. He admitted that he was part of the BTS team before the pandemic, and he delivered something that changed everything. In the past, Jungkook told us that if one day he felt that his presence was burdening the other members, he would leave before they knew it. That sentence now sounds like a prophecy. Does Jungkook feel guilty? Does the pressure from the public, the media, and even the ARMY itself make him feel inadequate? The ARMY didn't love him. They admired him, looked after him. But the world is often unfair. Even to someone as powerful as Jungkook, for many years, he was considered the golden magne. the bearer of all expectations, all responsibility, all the spotlight. But who has ever really asked,